Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Justice. So, this is what you are going to be making. If this looks like what you want to know, stay tuned to the end. So, here I have my pattern paper, and to draft, we have a shoulder line to the bust line, to the under bust, to the waist, and to the length of the gown, just the way I'm pointing at it. From bust 1.5 inch above, you have your armhole line, right? And then from the shoulder slant, which is 1.5 for the front, we rule it down to the armhole line, then go in by 0.75 and connect to the armhole line. Right now, the end of the armhole line is our bust divide by 4 for the bust area and the armhole. At the waistline, waist divide by 4. At the hip line or length of blouse, divide by 4. Right? Then we connect it. But remember, we've not added our bust span divide by 2. The depth of neckline is 3 inches by 3 inches. So when you have your that half inch on both sides using the bust span divide by 4, that is nipple to nipple measurements, you add it back to your measurements. But in this case, I added everything at the same time. Just follow the point the way I'm pointing at it and you will understand it better. Okay, so we're concentrating on the front. The back is not among here. All right, so we're going to move over to altering this basic bodice. Now in this basic bodice, we do not have bust darts. Okay, so to tighten the under bust, then mark 1 inch on the other side and half inch on this side. 1 inch on this side that I'm going to be connecting to the bust point, starting from the dart leg, 1 inch away from the dart leg. Okay, remember we already have half inch dart on both sides connected to the bust point. So I'm also connecting to this other half inch dart. This is for the under bust tightening. And from there, I'm going to rule it straight down to the length of my blouse. You can rule this length straight down or slant it the way I'm slanting it. If you want to have allowance at the um stomach area, okay, this will make it possible for you to have allowance at the stomach area. But if you want it to be well fitted, just take it straight down. Now remember that whatever you take away from the under bust or the waistline, you're going to add it back. So once you take your measurements, divide by 4, measure what you have in the darts and add it back to your measurements. In this case, you will not be running out of measurement or out of allowance or whatever. You'll not be running shortage of measurements. So it might exceed the line that you already have, but then it is necessary. You're going to re-rule the lines again. The same thing at the under bust. Whatever it is you've measured, measure the that intake and add it back to your measurement. Okay, so that is just what I'm doing here, and we're going to be connecting it to the bust point or bust line. Sorry, not bust point. We're going to be connecting it just the way you've marked your dots. Connect it back to the length of the blouse. This is quite easy and simple to follow. All you have to do is pay attention and you're going to get it right. Okay, so we're going to be marking our armhole princess darts. Our armhole princess dart from the bust point, connect to wherever you want it to be. I believe I'll be shifting this down before because I didn't like the way it is quite high, but then it's not bad. You can connect to wherever you want to connect. Now, like I said before, this pattern does not have a bust dart. I was just trying out a new pattern to see how it's going to come out without a bust dart, and that is why we have it here without a bust dart and without a shoulder dart. So I just want to try out something. So for us to draft the basic standard pattern, we have the link in the description box. So now the first line that I'm using is this one that I've drawn instead of taking it up. So from there I'm going to mark 1.5 inch down, 1.5 inch down, and I'm going to connect it to the bust point. So this is now my armhole line. So from this armhole line, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch above, which is what I tightened the armhole by. And from there, I'm going to re-rule my armhole curve. So here becomes my new armhole. As you can see, it's quite simple to follow. If you don't understand, please watch the video again. And then I'm going to curve the bust point so that it doesn't look pointy. We don't want it to look pointy, and that's why I'm going to curve it so that it's not sharp. You can see the way it is, it's not sharp. So if you feel like it's taking away your measurement, you can always add it back to your bust area. Okay, so I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch for the neckline because I don't want it to touch my neck. I don't want the net to touch my neck. So I'm taking 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'm going to be re-ruling the neckline 1/2 inch on the shoulder, 1/2 inch below to re-rule the neckline like so. Now the next thing we're going to be marking is where the illusion net is going to be, right? So from this new neckline that I have, I'm going to mark 1 inch in, or depending on how wide you want the illusion to be. And at the under bust, I'm going to mark in 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. When you open this, it becomes 1 inch, right? Yeah. So I'm going to be connecting from the 1 inch on the shoulder to the 1/2 inch at the under bust. I will rule it on a straight line. If you want it curvy, you can as well use a curvy line to rule it. But here I want it so straight. Okay? I want it very straight. However you choose to connect it, it's okay, but I want it to be straight at this point. So if you've watched up to this point, please kindly subscribe to this channel and come back for more interesting videos. Okay, I think I ruled more than 1/2 inch before, so I'm trying to make it 1/2 inch. It depends on how wide you want it. If you want it wider than 1 inch, then you have to take more than 1/2 inch. And so whatever you mark, it's going to be duplicated when you open it up. Okay, so like I said before, there is no bust dart and our pattern is getting ready. So for the curve, for what we saw on the thumbnail, we're going to curve this in form of a cupped corset, but it's not totally a cupped corset. We're going to use colors to demarcate it. So I'm going to be placing my curve from the armhole point, then shift it. You can see the way it is. It's looking like a cupped corset or a cupped bustier, but that's just the only curve that we're going to be having around there. So I'll use my hand to fine tune it more. Okay, I'm going to use my hand to fine tune it and make it visible for everyone to see. You know, I care about you seeing exactly what we're doing. Okay, so it's now the colors that are going to differentiate or demarcate what we just did, or based on the design on the thumbnail, that is what we're trying to replicate here. So we're moving forward. we're moving forward. Now the pattern is more like being set, and we're going to cut it out just the way you see. So I'll close the armhole princess to make sure that I have everything on the line where it's supposed to be. Only the dart is what you're closing to make sure that everything matches up the way you want it to be. If not, you might have issues, but then it's still okay. Even if you don't close it, you can still make something beautiful out of it. But here I'm going to close it and mark it right. So we're going to be cutting out the darts entirely. I was just checking to make sure that I have the right thing. So I'm going to cut the darts away, dismantle everything, disembody them, assemble them. We're going to label to make sure that we don't mix up any parts of the pattern, because the worst thing that can happen to a pattern maker is to have a piece of the pattern set missing. It's usually very frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to label every part to help me remember which one is which and which part stays where it's supposed to be, and that is what I'm doing right here. I hope you're enjoying watching this video. Once the pattern is made, the sewing is not usually an issue. The main issue begins with drafting of the pattern. If you're able to get your pattern set right, you're almost 60% good to go. The remaining 40 will be for the sewing. Okay, especially it depends on the style that you are making. So after cutting, these are the pattern sets. These are the pieces that we have, and we're going to place them on our fabric and cut, assemble everything together and cut, right? So let's move on. Now this is where we have, so we assembled everything here. You can see the way it's cut. The this is the illusion net, right? It's just opened. Now I have it in layers of 5 because I don't want it to be too transparent. Okay, so I cut as much as 5. This is the side. You can see the way it is. So we're going to join these two together. The other one follows, and then the lower part. This lower part I'm going to turn it to plain because I needed to do that demarcation so that it doesn't look like we're just cutting lines. Okay, so I'm going to turn it to plain. All right, so this is the back side. Like I said, we are concentrating on the front. The back has not so much issue. The issue is just on the front. Okay, so what we're going to be doing next is to join everything together. The lining has been cut, the hairstay has been added to the underlay of the net of the lace. Okay, so when you're making a lace fabric, you need an underlay, and that is where your hairstay is going to be. Okay, you can see it here on the either a duchess or satin or whatever it is that you're using, and we're going to lay it this way and join it to the net, to the illusion net, right? Whatever it is that you're using that is different from the lace, however you want it. Okay, so for the neckline of the net, I'm just going to sew it round and then turn it out to finish the neckline. Sew round, put everything together, sew round, then turn it the other way round, half of it. Okay, so we are making progress. I'm going to join it now and bring it back for you to see what it looks like. Yeah, like I said before, I'm going to sew everything and then turn it out to finish the neckline, and now join the two sides together. So after joining, this is what we have. This is just how you're going to join it. I'm going to join this other part too, and to the other side, and this is it. Now we're going to join the lower parts as well, like so. I said before I was going to make it plain. The center is not supposed to have a line, but there was a mistake in the cut, and that's why I joined it back. Okay, so I'm going to join it just the way you're seeing it. Yeah, and this is it. Okay, now you can go ahead and add either your boning or whatever structure you want to add to it. The back has been added as well, and the next thing is to add our lining. Now for the lining, I'm going to use the lining to finish the part of the neckline, the illusion line. Sew it this way and turn it the other way around to finish the upper part. The same applies to the other side too before joining any other parts. Okay, this video is gradually coming to an end, and if you've watched to this part, please kindly subscribe to this channel and look out for the next. Thank you. This is the outcome of what we have. Thank you.